All right, today we're jumping into one of the biggest, most powerful programming languages out there, Python.
I mean, you've probably heard of it, right? It's the engine behind, well, just about everything, from the apps on your phone to some seriously groundbreaking science. But here's the weird part. If you actually look at the code, it looks kind of simple. So that's our big question today. How is this super simple looking language running so much of our world?
And really, the core idea is right there. It's all about one thing, efficiency. The whole philosophy is simple. Let your programs do more, with fewer lines of code. And look, this isn't just about being lazy and typing less. It's about something way bigger, making the code itself easier for humans to read, write, and, fix when it breaks.
So how does it pull that off? Well, it's all about Python's syntax. You could think of that as the grammar of the language. It's designed from the ground up to be clean. I mean, other languages can look like a total mess of brackets and symbols. Python? Nope. It just uses simple spacing, indentation. The result is that it reads less like some secret computer code and more like plain English. And that, right there, is a massive key to its success.
Okay, so a simple philosophy is great, but how does that actually help you build really complex stuff? Let's get into that. First up, simple code, big ideas.
So to really get how Python works, you've got to know that there are basically two ways to think about programming. First, there's the procedural way. Think of it just like a recipe. You write down a list of steps, and the computer follows them, one by one. Super simple, super direct. But Python's real magic comes from the second way, object-oriented programming, or OOP. With this, you're not writing a recipe. Instead, you're building a little model of the world, full of objects that can all interact with each other.
Okay, so how do you build this model of the world? Well, it all starts with something called a class. A class is just a blueprint. That's it. Let's imagine a dog park. The dog class isn't your dog or my dog, it's the idea of a dog. It's the blueprint that says, hey, every dog is going to have some general things, like a name and an age, and they'll have some general behaviors, like barking and running.
And this is what that blueprint looks like in code. It's just a simple template. All it's saying is, okay, computer, any dog we make from now on has to have a name and it has to have an age. That's literally it. The blueprint, right there in code.
And now, this is where it all clicks. If the class is the blueprint, then an object is the actual dog you build from it. So your dog, Fido, who's 5 years old, he's an object. We use that generic dog blueprint to make him, but he's his own unique thing with his own name and age. And that's the whole point of this object-oriented stuff, creating all these individual objects that can then, run around and do things in your program.
But look, having clean code and a clever way of organizing things, that's only half the battle. Python has a secret weapon. It's a philosophy, and it's called batteries included.
So what on earth does batteries included mean? It means when you get Python, it comes with a gigantic box of pre-built tools called libraries. Think of a library like a set of Legos. It's a collection of pre-made, pre-tested pieces of code that solve common problems. So you don't have to build every little thing from the ground up. Need to do some crazy math? There's a Lego kit for that. Want to build a website? Yep, there's a kit for that too. The point is, you almost never have to start from scratch.
And I'm not kidding when I say there's a library for almost anything. You want to crunch huge amounts of data? You grab Pandas and NumPy. You want to build a 2D video game? There's PyGame. Building a web service? There's Flask. You even have tools for testing your code or writing documentation. This massive toolkit means you can basically build anything you can dream up. And at the end of the day, this is why developers can get so much done so fast with Python. They get to stand on the shoulders of giants, right? They're just piecing together these super powerful pre-built parts to create something new and awesome, and they can do it incredibly quickly.
All right, so we've got a simple language and a giant box of tools. So what are people actually doing with it? Let's take a look. We're talking everything from data to games. It's wild.
Check this out, a perfect example from computer vision. Let's say we want to build an app that finds you a free parking spot. How'd you do it in Python? Okay, step 1, you'd grab a library that can look at a live video feed from a camera. Easy. Step 2, use another library to find the outlines of the parking spaces. Step 3, identify what's a car in that video. Step 4, see if a car object is sitting on top of a space object. And finally, step 5, the second a space becomes empty, you send out an alert. See, each of those steps sounds crazy complicated, but with libraries, it's totally manageable.
But hey, it's not all just serious data stuff. Let's flip the script completely and talk about video games. A developer could use a library like PyGame to handle all the basics. Drawing stuff on the screen, making sounds. But what's really cool is that even with these great tools, you still have to be creative. For instance, PyGame doesn't just give you a start menu. So developers have to figure out how to build their own buttons from scratch, how they look, what happens when you click them. It's a great mix of using powerful tools and doing your own problem solving.
And when you look at all these different projects, you really start to see just how massive Python's impact is. I mean, look at this. It's an absolute beast in data science and AI, a huge player in making websites, and it's critical for scientists and game designers alike. It really can do a bit of everything.
Let's just focus on that biggest piece of the pie for a sec. Data science. Why should you care? Because Python is the tool that lets companies figure out what you want. It's what powers things like Netflix's recommendation engine or Amazon's You Might Also Like feature. It helps businesses make sense of mountains of data and make smarter decisions.
All right, let's step back and look at the big picture here. After all this, why does Python matter so much?
It all boils down to where we started. You take that super clean, easy-to-read style, you add in that batteries-included philosophy with all those libraries, and what do you get? You get something that makes programming accessible to way more people. It just tears down the walls and makes it so much easier for anyone to jump in and start creating. And that's the key. Because it's so accessible, it's not just some beginner's language. It's this amazing tool that lets everyone, from total newbies to absolute pros, take a complex idea in their head and actually turn it into something real, whether that's a groundbreaking scientific discovery or the next hit indie game.
So, when you think about it, Python's obsession with simplicity wasn't just a technical decision. It was a game changer. It basically threw the doors of programming wide open for millions of people. And that just leaves us with one last big question. Now that this incredible tool is in the hands of so many people, what are we going to build with it next?